Hiya, Daryl here. Welcome back to Jiangshi x Daoshi. When we last left off, our heroes had just left to go to the town to buy ingredients for to bake a cake. At the foot of the mountain lay a common town. Common buildings, common roads, common people. It was as though commonality itself was the place's only trait. None of Earthling's eyes sparkled with excitement as he shook in the unremarkable scenery. What's that? Why, how civilization is advanced. I expect nothing less than futuristic metropolis. Lingling's gaze settled on a car. Luan, mind explaining the purpose of that metal beast? Oh well, we call them cars. They're tools that help us travel from place to place. I do indeed spy some people sitting inside. I wish to try this experience. Buy me one. Ain't happening. I don't have that kind of money. Besides, you could have been an adult to get a driver's license. I've lived for 50 decades. I will not suffer being treated like a snotty tyke. A two-wheel vehicle? What's that? Bicycle. Bicycle. Cars use energy from burning water to function. But for these bad boys, you gotta move your own strength. A child is riding one. So there ought to be no objections to me trying my hand at that. Correct? I want to do it. I want it so. I don't know. I should help out with the laundry and the dishes, please, Luan. Ling tugged on Luan's sleeve. Well, fine. You gotta promise to help me. Ling confidently straddled a red bicycle made for children. What do you say, Luan? I channel the best... What is your language? A virtual visage of the great general riding their steed, do I not? She flashed a bold smile. Apparently this made her feel like a hero leading an army of thousands. Yeah, you're looking pretty snazzy there, Master. Pretty swag if you ask me. Alright, onwards, red hair. Didn't take her long for it to give it a name. Ling began gallantly pedalling away on the bicycle. This can only go well. It wobbled for a few meters forward then toppled over, just like that. An indigo darkness coloured the evening town, shedding its mundanity to cloak itself with a somewhat wistful atmosphere. It's more of a deal than I had expected. Ling covered in bruises, from head to toe, pushed her kiddie bicycle down the road. Let's practice when we get home. I'll help. I am counting on you, Luan. Ling snickered. What's you eating? What's you eating, Master? What's eating you, Master? The mundane world is full of life. Its world is rife with things both wonderful and stimulating, and I never would have learned about it had I stayed in Kazan, training. Above all else, however, I'm glad that the first person I met down here was a kind soul like yourself, Luan. Thanks. Ling's straightforward canvases nearly made Luan blush. Remain by my side, Luan. Sure thing, Master. It happened as the two continued down the road. You're Luan. A man's voice filled the barren streets. It sounded friendly enough, but would not without a peculiar raspiness to it. Luan turned round to see three men standing behind him. What's this? Are they friends of yours? Judging by this music, I'd say no. Ling looked up at the motionless Luan. He remained silent, and simply glared at the men with a look that could kill. We've been wondering what you were doing after ditching the organization, but man, who would have thought you were here in baboonies picking up little girls there? One of the men let out a vulgar snicker. The organization? Ling Ling tilted her head at the unfamiliar word. I take he didn't tell you short stuff. This man seemed to be This man used to be the #1 Shazao. Shashu. Ling Ling considered Luan with an anxious eyes. He might pretend to be Mr. Nice Guy around ya, but he'd off anyone for a right price, even someone your age. What? It ended in a blink of an eye. 2 backhand blows thrown at each of Luan's hands shattered both the men's jaws, rendering them both unconscious. Not even Daoshi Ling Ling's eyes could fully register what had occurred. The 2 men collapsed on the ground, a mixture of blood and shards of teeth drooling out from their mouths. Luan shoved the side of his knife into the remaining man's mouth. Blood trickled down the corners of his lips. The man let out an indecipherable whimper. You sure like running your mouth, Luan uttered in a whisper, his gaze cold as ice cold. You look like a different person altogether. The man's world had only triggered the mechanism for violence that lay dormant inside him. I'll slice up that chattering jaw of yours along with your tongue. Then I'll add an incision from your throat all the way down to your rear. Luan continued in a tone that would send a chill down anyone's spine. I'll skin you alive. A low crashing sound reverberated across the empty streets. Luan turned to see Ling Ling stared at him with frightened eyes. The bicycle toppled over by her feet. He slowly pulled the knife away, his face now reflecting a certain kind of embarrassment. He then straightened Ling Ling's bike back up. Don't think you're off your hook, Luan, you. We'll chase your treacherous hide to the end of the earth. We won't rest until you're in a body bag. As Luan and Ling Ling began to walk away, the man shouted at them. What was that man telling the truth? Ling Ling asked hesitantly. It was. I spear Shashu killed hundreds of men, sir. Luan answered in his usual laid-back tone. So, to tell the truth, I did find it odd to encounter donkeys so far away from their natural habitat. The beasts must have been attracted to the smell of blood lingering about you. Ling Ling made a short pause, then looked at Luan again. But, why? Bit of a vague question, that, but I'll try to answer it the best I can. Luan began his story. I was born into an organization, and my earliest memory is them teaching me how to kill. I never questioned it, nor did I feel anything special when I whacked folks. It's all I had back in those days, you see. People were marks to me, nothing more. Me, my marks, and the organization. There were 3 things that made up the world. Simple and easy to understand. Couldn't say I hated it. To be honest with you, it was an easy enough life, at least. Still. Luan placed a strawberry cake in front of Ling Ling before continuing. The food was great. Ling Ling gave Luan a confused look. This time, a whim drove me to try a cuisine book of a cook I killed. I was shocked. All I'd gotten from the organization were proteins, vitamins, and supplements. The taste of that dish felt so profound but overwhelming at first, I felt my world expanding. I don't know how to describe it, but something made by a mere target had provided me with so much unknown information. It made me wonder, could my other targets be expanded my world in similar ways? Do they all possess things myself lacked? Sometimes, though, I feared that this would destroy the simple worry-free life I'd come to know and to love. Before I realized what was happening, I'd already ran away from the organization. Who the fuck are you? Ling Ling listened to Luan's story in silence. Sorry for rambling off your ears, Master. Gotta admit, I'm a mystery to myself. That goes for my own apprenticeship too. I only accepted because I wanted to try something new. Luan bowed his head. I'm sorry your first disciple ended being a nasty old assassin. Go ahead, expel me, master. No! It's absolutely out of the question. Ling Ling vehemently opposed Luan's suggestion. The moment you learned about people marking the end of your life as an assassin. Furthermore, it is the master's duty to expand the world of a disciple, and such, I cannot abandon you. I have also proposed to you, remember? It was a promise between us to stay forever together, was it not? Right about that. I didn't exactly explain it in the best possible way, but... Scratching back of his head, Luan explained what her proposal meant. At first, Ling Ling listened calmly, but then she finally understood the meaning. Her face flushed red like an octopus. What? I never would have imagined. I'm not the best of disciples, but it's nice if you could let me stay by your side. That's quite fine, however. I do have a condition of my own. After that, Ling Ling stared Luan in the eye. You mustn't take another life. Ever. Her voice was but a whisper, but it reverberated in the depths of Luan's heart. Gotcha. Good, in that case, I will say it's a high time you made that what? Her words were cut short by Luan's sudden embrace. He pushed her to the ground, towering above her small frame. Luan, I may have proposed to you, but still, it's a tad too early for... The sound of gunfire filled the entire room. Pieces of shattered glass and furniture rained down on the two. What in the world is this thunderous clangor? Ling Ling's body stiffened under Luan's weight. A group of men with machine guns surrounded the lonely mountain shack. Among them was a man Luan met in the town a while earlier. This is the end for you, traitor! Men sprinkled gasoline on Luan's house. Light it up. The very moment the man, who was likely the group's leader, gave the order, Luan's house burst into flames. The men pointed their guns down at the door of the burning house. We'll see if you are burned to death or be turned to Swiss cheese. Make your choice, Luan Loeb. You. The man flashed a malicious grin. The scent of smoke tickled their nostrils, but no matter how long the men waited, the two never emerged from the house. I guess he chose to die among the flames there. No, not really. The man suddenly heard Luan's voice from behind. He turned to see half his men already lying unconscious. Some of them had their shoulders dislocated or their jaws shattered. Others had their legs twisted. How'd you get outside? The man seemed like he'd seen a ghost. I just passed through the wall. The man announced in his usual relaxed tone. Many men pointed their AK-47s at Luan. But their muzzles ended getting cleaved off by a spinning blade. What? A small shadow grandly glided towards the surprised men. In a split second, Daoshi Lao Ling attached her seals to the men's forehead. Don't move! As she pronounced those words, the men immediately lost the control of their bodies. Ling Ling, curious, picked up the few remaining machine guns but still in working order. Oh, so these are weapons for the modern world. How do they work? Ling Ling began blindly fiddling with the firearm like a child with a toy would. Her pinky accidentally pulled the trigger. The machine gun fired a volley of bullets. They hit the hair of the clothes of the men, leaving bald patches on their heads. The men turned ghostly pale, having just escaped death by a literal hair's breadth. It would have been beyond humiliating to die in such a way. To lose one's life in a comical accident was far more terrifying than dying the hands of a respected assassin. Forgive me, it wasn't my intention to shoot you. Are you unhurt? Did I graze you by accident? Oh, you're bleeding. Wait, just a spell. I can heal your wounds with my Kijong. Master, you cannot go around killing people with moments before you forbade me from doing it. I didn't do it on purpose. Well, all is well. There were no casualties. I half expected this, to be honest. Well then. Luan slowly approached the leader of the men. Look at you, you brought a whole army along. Anyway, you can relax. I'm pretty sure you heard just now, but my master forbade me here from taking another life. Still, I gotta make sure you never pull another stunt like this. Luan pulled out his knife. I'll gouge your eyes out and sever the tendons for your legs. Look, it won't kill you. The man let out an odd chuckle as Luan approached him, then pressed the button remote control he was hiding behind his back. The next moment, the neutralized Jiangshi nearby Luan exploded, causing gory chunks of meat and entrails to rain down on the ground. What? Press the wrong button. You stuffed him with bombs. You got a problem with it? Their only purpose is to kill you. I'm simply helping them do their jobs. The man pulled remote control out behind his back. Screw this, I'll blow them all up at once. No problem, I can still blade the blast at this distance. Wait. What Luan saw as he turned around was Ling treating the wounds of one of the Jiangshi. He dashed towards her with all of his might and leaped forward, pushing her to the ground and covering her with his body. A blinding flash followed. In the wake, a deafening explosion shook the very mountains. Don't die on me! You have to live, Luan! Ling screamed, her eyes moist with tears. Lying on his back, Luan looked up at the girl. The shrapnel from the explosion left wounds all over his body. His life was hanging by a thread. Master. What is it, Luan? Looks like we won't be able to make that cake for you anymore. Is that okay? You fool! This is the worst time to bring that up. It doesn't matter to me one bit, so long as you live. Sorry, but that's not happening. I don't think. Luan! Ling's tears pittered down on Luan's face. Luan slowly wiped them off her cheeks. They were the kind of tears one would shed at a close friend's deathbed. To Luan, who would spend most of his life robbing and killing, it felt mysterious and unfamiliar. However, this ain't so bad. And with that, Luan's heart came to a stop. Yeah, I did it. I managed to off that damned Luan. Man ran joyfully through the mountain path, still clutching to the activation switch to the remote bomb. His entire body trembled with excitement. I'm gonna get promoted. Huh? Next moment, the man's arm disappeared, accompanied by the gnawing sounds coming from only a few inches away. A single giant leg and an unnaturally large head attached to it emerged from the darkness. A Donku was snacking on the man's arm. A group of Donku had surrounded the terrified man. And then came a violent scream, followed by the sound of teeth ripping at flesh. Huh? Luan woke up in response to the sunlight caressing his cheeks. Oh, you finally came too! Ling flashed a smile that outbeamed the sun. Relieved, Luan guided his fingers to the wrist of his other hand. I'm not feeling a pulse. He then realized there was something attached to his head. This is a seal. Ling's expression clouded over. I'm sorry, Luan, but you're already dead. I failed to save you. For real? I'm like seriously dead right now? Luan answered in the same relaxed tone he usually did. The most I could do was forbid your soul from leaving your body. You have become a Jiangshi. Ling stared at the ground apologetically. Oh, it's fine, don't sweat it. I mean, I don't really mind. I may be dead, but my mind's still on my own. I can move around just fine, ain't seeing a problem here, Master. I see death doesn't make you any less flippant. Ling gained one an exasperated look. then tightened her features and looked him straight in the eye. You may claim to be fine, but that won't satisfy me. Fear not, for I promise to bring you back to life. Ling puffed out her chest. Her gaze burned with determination, yet those with observant eyes could also see the hint of relief in its flames. Thanks, Master. As for what I should do to repay you... Ling Ling's stomach interrupted Luan's voice, demanding an immediate refill. The girl's cheeks blushed slightly. Well, I guess I'll start with making something tasty for you to eat. Very well, I'm counting on you, said Ling Ling with sparkling eyes.